Good morning. Welcome to the Class of 2022 White Coat Ceremony. I'm Dr. Terry Blevins, Assistant Dean for Student Affairs at the College of Medicine, Rockford. You saw a few slides. That's what your students did yesterday. They got acquainted with Rockford and did some team building. Is there anybody who still needs seats? Because I think there's a few still. Okay, thanks. So we're excited to welcome this group of medical students to the profession of medicine, and we congratulate and honor you, their family and friends who have come to share this important day with them. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Alex Stagnaro-Green, Regional Dean of the University of Illinois College of Medicine, Rockford. Dean Stagnaro-Green is a professor of medicine, obstetrics, and gynecology, and medical education. He graduated from the Mount Sinai School of Medicine in 1983, performed his residency training in internal medicine at the University of Medicine and Dentistry of New Jersey. From 1986 to 88, he completed a fellowship in endocrinology and metabolism at the Mount Sinai School of Medicine. In 2017, he obtained a Master of Healthcare Administration from the University of Illinois at Chicago. An internationally known researcher in the field of thyroid and pregnancy, in 1990, Dr. Stagnaro-Green published in the Journal of American Medical Association the seminal article linking thyroid antibody positivity in euthyroid women with a doubling in the rate of spontaneous miscarriage. He has written over 60 articles on the topic of thyroid and pregnancy. In 2011, Dr. Stagnaro-Green was the chair and lead author on guidelines of thyroid and pregnancy that were internationally endorsed. Dr. Stagnaro-Green has led comprehensive curriculum reform at 3 different medical schools and has served on over a dozen liaison committee on medical education site visits, serving as team secretary on 8 of these visits. He has published 20 articles in medical education in multiple areas, including core and trustable professional activities, medical student research, and curricular innovation. Between 2015 and 2017, Dr. Stagnaro-Green was the lead faculty member representing the University of Illinois College of Medicine's team for the Association of American Medical Colleges Core and Trustable Professional Activities Collaborative. Given his dedication to medical education, he obtained a Master of Health Professions Education in 2005 from the University of Illinois College of Medicine. Please join me in welcome Dean Stagnaro-Green.
Well, thank you, Terry. As I was listening to that and wishing that my mom and dad were still alive to hear it, I thought that with all of that, the 2 things I still love doing more than anything else is seeing patients and teaching students. And as a physician, we're so blessed that we could do so many different things in our career. We could do research, we could do clinical, we could teach, we could have public health roles, and we can impact on our society in so many different ways. And that's what our new medical students are walking into, a career that gives them endless opportunity. I'd like to start by welcoming everyone, the parents, the grandparents, the spouses, significant others, children, friends, family, to our campus. For many of you, it actually might be the first time that you're on this campus, and I'd like to talk a little bit about the history of our campus and what makes our campus somewhat unique. And I'll keep this relatively short, about 5-6 minutes, but I think if I was a parent and my child was coming here, or a grandparent, I'd want to know what they're getting into and what is that campus all about. The University of Illinois College of Medicine as a whole has been around for over 150 years, but our campus in Rockford has been here for 50 years. We started in 1972 with our first year class. We had about 18 students. If you look at the picture of the graduating class, it's really interesting because there's lots of plaid and other things and mustaches that go all the way down. So it was very symbolic of society at that time, but it's also symbolic. There were no minority students. There was 1 woman in the class. And so things have changed dramatically, as you see, as you'll watch our students come up and receive their first white coat. Since our first year class, we have graduated each year around 55 students, so that's 1,900 physicians. The vast majority, 70%, are practicing in the state of Illinois, with a high percentage in Winnebago County. And if you live in Winnebago County and you have any healthcare needs, I would say it's virtually impossible to be treated by physicians here in our county that have not either trained or been impacted by the College of Medicine. We started out initially as a College of Medicine in the old building, which we're in. And the old building, this building, was a TB sanitarium. So there's a strong history of medicine and healthcare on this campus. That started back in the 20s and the 30s, continued into the 60s, and when there was a recognition that we needed more physicians throughout the state of Illinois, the idea was to develop a campus in Rockford, in Peoria, in Urbana, outside of our main campus in Chicago, and that the goal would be to train individuals who go into practice in suburban and rural areas. Over the years, this campus has evolved, and it's transformed into what we call a health science campus. So about 25 years ago, a nursing school started here, and we have a DNP, a Doctorate of Nursing Practice, that we give. We train students from all over the world in a master's in biomedical technology so they can go out and work in laboratories or in corporate world, knowing the latest scientific techniques. And 10 years ago, we created a pharmacy school. And we now have a 4 full-year fledged pharmacy school starting in 2010. And the great thing about it is we now have medical students, pharmacy students, nursing students, as well as researchers working together in an environment and appreciating what the other does, so when they go out into practice, they can practice into professional care. Without going into too much of the future, my hope is that in the next 5 to 10 years, we could add another building onto our campus, because we've had such rapid growth. We're growing out of our space, and I'd like to bring other programs out here in allied health fields, such as public health, physician assistant, occupational therapy, physical therapy, etc. So we become an even more expansive health science campus. I'm going to talk for a little bit about things as parents and family you might not hear as much about, but are core to what we are as an institution. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the research, a little bit about the clinical, and then the education, which you'll hear from your kids or your significant others. We have a whole variety of research programs that are going on, and I couldn't figure out any way that I can give you a sense of the depth and breadth. So I decided I would talk about the impact. And the impact is on something called the shingles vaccine. How many here, just raise your hand, have heard of shingles? Okay, I won't ask about how many people have had shingles. There's nothing bad about having shingles. Shingles is a reactivation of the chickenpox virus. It lays latent in your nervous system, and then it comes out, and when it comes out as a band, follows what's called a dermatome, follows the nerve. It could be incredibly painful while you have it, and then afterwards you can have a syndrome called post-herpetic neuralgia, which it stays for many years, and you could have pain even though that rash is gone. There is a vaccine out for shingles. I got that vaccine about 5 years ago, and many of you probably got that vaccine. I got it because I saw a lot of my patients who had shingles and saw how painful it was and wanted to avoid that pain at all cost. But it turns out that that vaccine has limitations. It doesn't last as many years as we would like it to last. Over time, it is not quite as effective as it is initially. It's not as effective in preventing post-herpetic neuralgia. So there have been researchers around the world trying to come up with a better vaccine. And how many of you have heard of the new Shingrix vaccine that's come out? Just raise your hand. Okay, less. But the Shingrix vaccine came out on the market in October of 2017. It is thought to be more effective, have a longer half-life, decrease the severity of shingles if you get it, and decrease the incidence of post-herpetic neuralgia. All of these things are terrific. I am going to get the Shingrix vaccine. But there's one other kick. Does anyone know where the Shingrix vaccine was discovered? Say it louder. Here. It was discovered here. We had a researcher here in the 1980s and 1990s who is the individual who developed the Shingrix vaccine. So the vaccine that he worked on here in our Department of Biomedical Sciences is now being recommended to every American over the age of 50 who doesn't have any contraindication, which there are some, and it's being recommended throughout the world. And it's already clearly recognized as a superior vaccine to what we had beforehand. That's the type of research that can come out of our institution. Just so happens we have a researcher who is working on lymphatic filariasis. So lymphatic filariasis is what we know of as elephantiasis. When you see those pictures from India with the individuals who have the incredibly swollen extremities, it's not only a disabling disease, but a disease that brings social isolation. Our researcher, Dr. Ramaswamy, is further ahead of anybody in the world in developing this vaccine, which probably in the next couple of years will go to clinical trials. And so we might have another vaccine from UIC Rockford that's having a global impact. I want to talk about the clinical training that our students get. We are very blessed in Rockford that we have 3 major teaching hospitals, OSF St. Anthony, Rockford Memorial, and Swedish American, each of which are about 350 to 400 bed full service hospitals. On top of that, we have a federally qualified healthcare center called Crusader. This is for low-income individuals to be able to provide care. And then we have the Rosecrans facility that provides psychiatric care. And we have 400 physicians who have signed up to teach at our medical school because they want to share their knowledge and to train the next generation of physicians. So one of the most unique aspects of our education, which I'm now getting into, is that student-faculty ratio. There are very few medical schools in the country where our students, or any students, will have the degree of ability to interact with their faculty, to interact with the deans, to interact with voluntary faculty at all of these hospitals. And I thought last night as I was preparing this talk about my relationship with my dean when I was at Mount Sinai. And I shook his hand on the first day, and I shook his hand on the last day. And I could have pointed him out, but we never had a conversation. There was never any type of relationship. Well, I as dean get to know every one of our medical students. I teach on a regular basis. For example, yesterday, I spent an hour and a half at OSF with 6 of our medical students going over a medical case and difficult ethical issues and how you would deal with that. Teaching not only the science, but also the art of medicine. So the interactions that occur here at Rockford between the students, the faculty, and the staff is a much more intimate relationship, and therefore allows us to develop the type of positive learning environment that we believe is integral to becoming a physician. This does not mean in any way, shape, or form that we do not focus on the rigor of what we expect our students, our clinicians, our staff to have. The bar is set very high. It's our belief you could set that bar very high and have a positive learning environment, and when people fall below that bar, that's when we can have our conversations. The final comment is, and this is a testament to our students, we have anywhere between 35 and 45 community volunteer activities that our students are involved in. They do this on top of their regular curriculum. They do this on top of the work they do with their research. They do this on top of trying to maintain their personal relationships and their family relationships. And by the way, expect that the phone calls will not be as frequent as they've been in the past. The students are really busy. But the things they do on that community level are incredibly impressive. And you'll be hearing about them in a couple minutes when Dr. Baptist does the Gold Humanism Awards. So with that, I'd like to move on with the program and introduce those on the stage who assist me in coding. They put my name down, but I don't think I have to introduce myself. So I will start with Dr. Michael Suk. Michael is a graduate of our medical school. He's also a lawyer. He has an MPH, and he must have some other degrees that I don't know about yet. Dr. Errol Baptist, sitting next to him, is professor of pediatrics and faculty mentor for the Gold Humanism Honor Society. Dr. Baptist is one of our most outstanding educators here in Rockford. Students select individuals who get a golden apple each year. Some people have more than one, so they have a golden tree. Dr. Baptist has a grove. Dr. Christopher Whalen, clinical assistant professor, Department of Surgery and Surgical Specialties. Besides the work he does in his own specialty, he's the president of the Winnebago County Medical Society. And that's a very important thing for us to do as physicians, not to realize that we have responsibilities not just to our patients, but also to our society. And then we have two of our deans, Mitch King, who is Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, Chair, Department of Health Science Education, does scholarly work in a variety of different areas, including recently published a textbook in geriatrics. And then we have, they put a space for your name, Connie, I don't know why. I guess because you were the most important. And then we have Dr. Connie Vitale. Connie is Assistant Dean for Med Education and Evaluation and visiting professor of clinical pathology. She has had a really incredible career working in many years at Mercy Hospital, achieving very high levels, including chair of the Board of Trustees there, head of the premier pathology group in town, and 2 years ago has come to work with us on our new curriculum. We'd like to recognize the sponsors of our White Coat ceremony. These individuals or organizations have a long-standing tradition of support for Rockford medical students. They have provided the personalized white coats that you will be seeing presented to each student. And I'd like, if you would please join me in acknowledging the support of the Winnebago County Medical Society and the Rockford Medical Alumni Fund. So it's now time and my pleasure to introduce Dr. Errol Baptist, who will induct the fourth-year students who have been selected into the Gold Humanism Honor Society. And he very nicely took time from tending his golden apple grove to join us today.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the first happy part of this event, giving our students a piece of gold. And it's the kind of gold you cannot buy, but it's something that is given in appreciation of what these students are. The mission of the Gold Humanism Honor Society is to recognize individuals who can serve as role models, as mentors and leaders in medicine. The attributes of the humanistic doctor include integrity, excellence, compassion, altruism, respect, integrity, and service. This year, nominated by their peers, 8 medical students have been selected for this single honor. And I think Dr. Blevins will please come forward and read their names.
Okay. You've got your pens.
I'm going to get ready with the pins.
Okay. Can you guys come on down? As I read your name, will you please come forward? Tell me when you're ready. Yep. So there's probably no bags. They have the bags with them. Maritza Estrada O'Brien. Maritza is a first-generation college student, and she has been a strong leader throughout medical school. She is president of the Latino Medical Student Association and vice president of the Family Medicine Interest Group. She won the UIC Urban Health Program Student Leadership Award, given to a student who demonstrates exceptional leadership skills and is actively engaged in student activities. She helped create the Leader to Leader mentorship program on campus, which provides mentors to local high school students. On medicine, her attending commented that Maritza is enthusiastic about medicine, but more importantly, her kindness is most appreciated by her patients. Congratulations, Maritza. Stephanie Grach. Stephanie is an amazing leader and beloved by her classmates. She was awarded the Jane Addams Distinguished Service Award for her role in Swedish American Hospital's No One Dies Alone program, and for her participation in the College of Medicine Rockford's service rotation in Haiti. The award is presented to up to 4 students among the 30,000 that attend the University of Illinois at Chicago, and is awarded for creativity, innovation, and dedication to community service. She was president of Rockford's Medical Student Council. She's an officer and actively engaged with the college-wide Medical Student Council as well. She's an outstanding role model for her peers and has an exceptional talent for building consensus in her work with others. Congratulations, Stephanie. Nicole Larson. Nicole has been an outstanding peer educator, serving as the pathology tutor for the M2 class of 2020. She received amazing reviews from her peers. She volunteers with STEM and Health Careers Camp. She was an instructor at Camp Innovation, demonstrating her dedication to cultivating an interest in science and medicine in our future physicians. Nicole is the founder of the Disaster Medicine Interest Group and vice president of the Catholic Medical Association and a Step 1 mentor. During third year, her attendings raved about her performance as well, describing her as having excellent communication skills, a strong fund of knowledge, but mostly that it was such a pleasure to teach and to work with her. Congratulations to Nicole. Christina Overman. Christina is from a small rural town in Illinois, actually a graduating class of 20, where she said there were limited opportunities for education, but Christina has taken advantage of every opportunity that came her way. She's a James Scholar and a member of the Rural Medicine Program. She is dedicated to community service. She was project coordinator for Brave Beauties, volunteers with Healthy Halloween, Spooky Scientist, and the Rockford Rescue Mission and the Food Pantry. She was a teaching assistant, and one of her peers wrote to the dean saying, "Christina Overman is top-notch. The materials provided by her include massive amounts of relevant material laid out in a succinct fashion, as well as helpful pointers to recognize high-yield principles. I could not have done nearly as well without these study materials." And so thank you to Christina for her work here. Blair Wright. Blair is a committed and engaged community volunteer. Prior to medical school, she founded a nonprofit in Central Illinois, a youth-focused grant-giving program that is still running, and Blair is still a volunteer there. Theater has always been important to Blair, and she started a nonprofit theater program here in Rockford for youth on the west side. She incorporates this interest in theater into medicine as well. She uses her improv skills to read a room and try to understand others at a deeper level. Blair is often seen returning to the hospital after hours, seeing patients who are lonely or whose families are in need of additional attention. She is indeed an outstanding Gold Humanism Honor Society member. Congratulations. We have 3 students who could not be here. They're M4s and they're all on away rotations out of state. Hillary Hasten, who's an exemplary leader. She was president of UIC Rockford's chapter of American Medical Women's Association and a co-regional director of Region 6 for AMWA, vice president of the Rockford Student Council, and expanded the Rockford Leadership Certificate Program, as well as a MedSib mentor and a volunteer at the Bridge Clinic. So Dakota Lammy is a member of the Rural Medicine Program. He was both a football player and a diabetic, and he organized a flag football charity event called the Sugar Free Bowl, raising money for the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. And Allie Mueller, who was president of the Rockford chapter of Christian Medical and Dental Association and of Healing Hands, she organized Healthy Halloween and was a rural health careers camp counselor. She volunteers still from high school on at her local nursing home. So we congratulate all 8 of these. Join me once again in congratulating them.
Will the new members please join me in reciting the oath? I pledge. Congratulations.
Well, thank you, Dr. Baptist. And now I presume everyone has a sense of the incredible activities that our students do outside of their academic components. And compassion and humanism is as much a component of being a physician as the knowledge that they obtain. So I think it's great that our students are involved in all these things, and wonderful that the Gold Humanism Society has created the recognition. We started about 4 years ago when I got here the tradition of bringing back graduates of our medical school to speak at our graduation and speak at our white coat ceremony. And we did that because, one, we wanted to reconnect with those individuals and see what they're doing. 2, we wanted them to come back and have them get a sense of what the campus is all about and what has evolved over the years. And 3rd, and probably most importantly, is for our students to have role models to look at, saying, okay, 20 years ago, this individual was in the same position that I was in, and look what she or he did with their career. Look what the possibilities are that are out there. And with that as a preface, it's a special pleasure to introduce Dr. Michael Suk today as our keynote speaker. Dr. Suk is a 1997 graduate of the College of Medicine, Rockford. While here, he earned not only a medical degree, but a master's degree in public health, and along the way got a law degree from Boston University. As if earning 3 professional degrees simultaneously wasn't enough to distinguish him, he also achieved the distinction of being the first medical student and the first Asian American to be directly elected to the Board of Trustees of the American Medical Association. After graduating from the College of Medicine, Rockford, Dr. Suk completed an orthopedic surgery resident at Montefiore Medical Center in New York and a fellowship in orthopedic trauma at Cornell University in New York City as well. He has received many awards and distinctions since then. He is one of the nation's top experts on the link between public health and recreation, having served as a White House Fellow and Senior Advisor to the National Park Service, exploring that connection. More recently, he was named one of the 18 executives in the nation selected as Baldrige X Executive Fellows. He's on the editorial board of several journals and has authored numerous scientific articles and a landmark textbook on orthopedic outcomes. He is active in several professional organizations and has been a vocal leader in public health issues and in organized medicine through leadership roles in the American Medical Association. Today, he's not only a noted orthopedic trauma specialist, but also chair of system-wide orthopedic surgery and chief physician office at Geisinger Health System, one of the largest health systems in the nation, with 13 hospital campuses, a medical school, and 2 research centers that employs 30,000 people in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. He earned an MBA in Healthcare Administration from the University of Scranton in 2017. It's a true pleasure to introduce Dr. Suk today to give our Gold Humanism talk.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for having me. Alex, thank you very much for that introduction. It's always kind of humbling to hear what people have either written about you or say about you, and it's actually kind of scary how much school I went to. Let me tell you that for those of you just starting at the University of Illinois, the expectation is that you will get 4 degrees before you leave. University of Illinois, Rockford. No, I'm kidding. But of course, I'm really honored to be invited as a keynote speaker to your White Coat ceremony. I wanted to give you just a couple things of curiosity and interest. It's been 21 years since I've been back to the campus, and I drove up from O'Hare Airport yesterday, and I was very sad to see the clock tower is no longer there. It brought a tear to my eye, those of you who remember the clock tower. But I also saw that Uncle Nick's is now a second location. So the Uncle Nick's that I know was a very late night jaunt, 24/7 at a renovated gas station downtown. And downtown I heard is much nicer than it was back when I was here. Some very interesting things that I want to share with you and tell you a little bit about the historical importance, not only of the scientific things that University of Illinois has done, but this morning we talked about the White Coat ceremony, and as I looked at doing some research about the ceremony itself, the history is this. In 1989, in Wikipedia, if you're bored with this, you can look in Wikipedia now. It'll say that the University of Chicago held the first White Coat ceremony in the country, but really the first official one took place at Columbia University in 1993. And I then quickly went to the Columbia University website, and they are celebrating the fact that they were #1. I will share with you that I organized the first White Coat ceremony here at Rockford in 1992. And so I think we need to claim our stake in the history books. So very similar to you, I was a second-year medical student, and back then the White Coat ceremony was largely about the transition between the basic science years and moving into the clinical years, with a real dedication, respecting the honor of the profession, and making sure that we recognize that patients were now part of our ongoing curriculum and not just books and studying scientific formularies and things like that, much of which summertime you forget. But I think that, and so that was an interesting tradition. I'm very happy to see us continued. But to me, I think it represents really a great number of things besides just wearing a white coat, seeing patients. For me, it's a reflection of tradition. It's a reflection of respect. It's a reflection of the people, it's a reflection of the things and a recognition of the things that people have done before you in this greatest profession that we have. So despite the many roles that I play at a large healthcare system today, I'm still very clinical. I still see patients. I operate oftentimes probably too much, according to my wife, but I operate a lot. But I will tell you that every day, regardless of whether I'm in an administrative meeting or not, I'm wearing a white coat, because the white coat itself represents the fact that I've put a lot of time into it, but also because I have a connection back to patients that no administrator will ever have. And so I'd ask you to think about that as you don a white coat today. Think about the next step of getting a long one. That was a wink, because the long ones are next. But I think that the tradition of getting a white coat really is symbolic of more than just the entry. It's the beginning of a profession. And frankly speaking, for me, despite all the changes in healthcare and things that are going on today, it's still truly the best profession, I think. And take it from me, because I'm part of 4 different ones. So a little bit about kind of how I got to where I am, and I just thought that maybe this would be instructive and maybe offer you some thoughts about, reflecting on what appears to be a 21-year. I'm so sad to look at it. It's 21 years. I don't feel that old. But to look back and see what I think are some of the more impactful things in my life that have really changed my pathway and also helped me continue to stay active and very engaged and very much a part of the hope that we can always do things better. So I grew up in Chicago. I'm from the south suburbs. I'm from Flossmoor, Illinois. I don't know if anyone's out there from Flossmoor. I come from a long line of physicians. I see a wave. Great. I come from a long line of physicians. So I'm an orthopedic surgeon. My father was an orthopedic surgeon. My grandfather was an orthopedic surgeon. I have a son. What do you think he's going to? No, I'm kidding. Actually, I have 2 daughters too, but they have no interest at this point. So with that, I think obviously there was some early exposure, but I think truly, in my mind, the idea of being a doctor was more than just being a clinician, someone who worked with their hands, being a bone mechanic to some degree, even though I loved the field of orthopedics growing up. I went to Carleton College in Minnesota. No shout-outs there, okay? A small liberal arts college in Northville, Minnesota, where I began my pathway, and I said, I'm going to be a doctor. And then I quickly decided that, man, there was a lot of stuff at a liberal arts college you could do other than being a doctor. So I decided that I was going to major in history, right? So that's what you do at liberal arts, right? You major in history. So then my father calls me and he says, how's things going? I said, I'm majoring in history. He says, that's great, fantastic, but do me a favor. He said, and you'll hear this is a repeating thing between me and my father. He says, do me a favor, just explore the pre-med thing and continue with your courses and see if it's something. If you don't want to be a doctor, you can always go back and be a history major. And I said, okay, I'll give it a try, and continued with my pre-med. And then I threw him for another loop, and then my subspecialty, and this throws many people for a loop, my subspecialty in history was actually African-American history. And so my father's a very traditional Korean gentleman looked at me and said, my son is absolutely out of his mind. So, but to me, I think it was formative in the sense that what my specialty was in history was really at the crux, or the crucible, where political science and the civil rights movement really was moving from current events into something more of a historical perspective. But that was my focus. And I think that in many ways was formative for me to believe in the underdog, right? To believe that things could be possible. And if I look back, it instilled in me this questioning, constant questioning of why are we doing things this way? My parents will tell you that happened way earlier, and they were really pissed at me all the time, but I kept asking, why are we doing it this way? But that, I think, carried with me through my life. So I went ahead and I majored in history. I graduated from college, and then I decided, you know what, I really don't want to be a doctor. And so I applied secretly to jobs, and I had a job teaching history, high school history in Metairie Park, Louisiana. Metairie Park, Louisiana. No, I call home. I said, Dad, I'm so excited to tell you I got a job. You got a job? Yeah, I'm going to teach history. Silence. He says, Mike, do me a favor. Apply to medical school and see if you get in. And if you get in, we'll talk about it. But if you always want to teach history, you can always go back and teach history. So I applied to medical school, and at this time, and this is a little bit of inside baseball, so I applied at a time when all the applications were closed. And so I applied, I said, I'm not getting in. I get a note about a week later saying I'm on a wait list for medical school. And from 2 different schools, one of them was the University of Illinois, and I'm number 1 on the wait list at the University of Illinois. And I said, all right, well, maybe I'll get in, maybe well, so I'm going to start packing up to go. Literally the day after I got the letter, I get the invitation to come to medical school. And I had a choice of campuses, and we started looking at that. So I told my dad I would try for a year, but my dad's much smarter than me. He decided that he knew that if I decided I was going to go try something, that I'd probably stick with. So I went to the first year medical school. Back then we were going to Urbana for our basic sciences years. And I'll tell you, it was really hard. It was one of the hardest things that I did. It really made me have to sit down and buckle down and spend time in the library. I used to get by with a lot of stuff, and I could just kind of cursorily read, but it was really hard. Went through the first year medical school, and as I was going through, I said, you know what? I'm going to apply to law school. So secretly, I take the LSAT, and the LSAT was the day before the finals, the last finals of the medical school finals. It's comical how stupid I was. So I take the LSAT, I actually do pretty well on the LSAT, and I start thinking about what am I going to do with it. I like the humanities, I like the idea of right brain, left brain thinking, and I said I'm going to start looking at schools that had a focus on health law and things like that. And I went through and applied to a number of different schools, and Boston University really rose to the top, which back then was really the only school had a specialty in healthcare law, because I didn't want to go become a lawyer. I wanted to be someone who was going to help the profession of medicine. So then I come in and I start my second year medical school, and there's really a couple people that, I think are still active in the medical school that I should try to recognize. And this speaks to the importance of the leadership of people in your life, and I know that Dr. Stagnaro-Green will become one of those folks, and all the deans here. I met a gentleman named Dale Flash at the time, those of you who are here who've known him for a long time, and he was truly instrumental, one of the critical moments in my life, a lot like my dad. And I told him I'd love to come here for my second year medical school, but I'd like to take some time off in between and go to law school. And he looks at me, it's like, what's the matter with you? And I said, hey, this is my plan. So my plan ended up being that I would do law school for 9 months, and then I'd return every summer to do a clinical clerkship. So I'd do peds, OB, and others during the summertime instead of clerking as a law student. What this ended up being is that I ended up being part of 7 graduating classes, not just 4, because I started in 1990, I ultimately finished in 1997, because in between there I also took time to practice law to see if I liked it, and obviously I didn't like it, so I came back. So now I have to have the call with my dad. And I tell my dad, I said, Dad, I finished this, I'm really happy with where I am in the second year, I've applied to law schools and I want to go, and he says, Mike, do me a favor. And he says to me, he brings a good case, and he says, you should finish medical school. If you want to be a lawyer later, you can always be a lawyer. And I'm thinking to myself at the time, I said, I'm not going to go to medical school, finish, do a residency, and then decide at age 35 or whatever that I'm going to go back to school. I said, that's not in me. And I said, this is the first time I said, Dad, I can't do you a favor. So we had a little bit of a row, and we talked about it for a while, but then he turned around and he said, I'll support you. I think in the back, I saw him last night for dinner, and I was telling him what I was planning to say, and he said, yeah, the whole time he was biting his nails. For 4 years, he was biting his nails. Is he going to finish medical school? So I ended up going, and I finished, and along the way, I picked up the MPH while I was at law school. That was another conversation. And then I ultimately came back with the idea to finish my clerkships, do my rotations, and then apply for residency. Then I applied for orthopedic surgery. I matched. One of the greatest days of my life, and certainly my dad will tell you one of the greatest days in his life. And really one of the great traditions we just talked about before we got here is that he, being a physician, got to hood me at my graduation ceremony. So these are some of the subtle traditions that I think exist here at the University of Illinois Rockford that you can't really get at a larger school. The personal touch, the conversations, the ability for people to go to bat for you. During my time here at medical school at UICOM Rockford, not only Dale, who was a critical component to what I was able to succeed, but the extracurricular activities, and I congratulate the Humanism Award winners because you have a list of things that you do that are outside of just being a student, and I congratulate you for doing this. It's a key critical component to being a great doctor is to do something more, right? It's what drives us. You're going to see patients and you're going to do things, but you're always going to be asked to do one thing more. So just an example about how we can actually do that, right? And how is it that sometimes when we're really stretched, how can you actually do more? I just do a little experiment with you right here. Everybody raise your arms above your head. Just as high as you go. Right, now, go another inch. That's what I mean by being able to do something more. And in the profession of medicine, we're always going to be asked. The things that people talk about today, outside the clinical challenges and technological changes that are happening, are the things about physician wellness and burnout, right? And these are critical components to making sure that we take care of ourselves as much as we take care of patients. And so in the midst of all these things, lean on people who are around you, recognize the people there to support you, but always keep in mind that you should be moving toward different ways to making our healthcare system better. I started my job at Geisinger, and I'm very fortunate to have an opportunity to be in one of the largest integrated health delivery networks in the country, really one that is motivating, I think, a lot of discussion about the way healthcare can change. Among the things that we've been able to succeed on is really asking the simple questions of why are we doing it this way, going back to my early childhood, always reflecting on my dad saying, do me a favor. And I think this is all coming back to me as a professional now. So we do things now at Geisinger that really were unheard of before. So we were first in the country to offer a 90-day warranty on your total hip and total knee, that if anything ever went wrong, we would take care of it. Nobody does that. In the world of medicine today, if you have a mistake, if somebody makes a mistake, guess who pays full price to fix it, right? That's the way healthcare was incentivized, is we get paid for the next procedure. We extended that this year to the world's first lifetime warranty on a total hip, where if you come into our system today and you get a total hip surgery, for a lifetime you don't have to pay anything out of pocket. At Geisinger today, we do things like guarantees around patient experience, where we said if you come and have a lumbar surgical procedure or you have a bariatric procedure, then if you have a bad experience in our hospital, we give you back your $1,500 copay. And this has caused us, I think, in many ways, to rethink the way we deliver medicine and the way we think about how patients are part of our overall episode of care, and how we bring together teams of people together so that we actually work holistically in order to achieve a much better result. The world of education today is about health system science. I'm so pleased to know that the University of Illinois here has a robust curriculum around system science. And when Dr. Stagnaro-Green talks about the expansion of clinical programs here into the physical therapy, into the areas of social work, it's because the new medicine is about working together as a team and always keeping in mind the patient's best interest at the end of the day. So I'm going to leave you with just a couple things that I think are important. If there are any students here who want to take notes, these are the only things that I would tell you are worth taking notes on. In my life, there are a couple things, two rules and 3 questions that drive everything that I do, and you'll see why. And I would ask that it become part of your lexicon and the things that you do on a daily basis. The 2 questions are this, or the two rules are this. One is in any interaction, no matter with your peers, your parents, your administrators, your people, your healthcare administrators, number one, always assume good intentions, right? Because when you do that, your conversation starts on a good foot. Nobody's trying to hurt you. Don't assume they're trying to hurt you. And the second is you have to say what you want and not what you don't want. And when you spend time thinking about how it should be, you spend less time on how it shouldn't be. And when you take those 2 rules to heart, you'll find that in every patient interaction, it can help you determine how a patient's clinical course will go, but it'll also engage them in a way that perhaps they haven't been engaged. So those are the 2 rules that I'd ask you to just apply in almost anything you do. The 3 questions that I think are critically important, and these are really very simple, and these are rules of life, I think, that can be applied to everything, whether it's making it on time to class, or whether it's wearing a tie in clinic, or putting on your white coat because it represents something. 3 questions will guide you the rest of your life. Number 1 is, are you any good? All right, where are my first-year medical students? Yeah, raise your hand. Are you guys any good? You better say you're pretty good. Dr. Stagnaro, get them out of here, the ones who don't think they're good. Second question, are you getting better? Right? So I see a couple, every day I wake up, drink my coffee, and I'm getting better. Now, the third one's really, really important, because this is the moment of self-reflection. You can put your white coat on, ask yourselves 3 questions in the day. And the last one is, how do you know? Are you any good? Are you getting better? And how do you know? And it's the how do you know that's really hard. Sometimes we say, I know because I did well on that test. Guess what? In a patient interaction, there's no written test, right? So self-reflect on the things you do. Everything you do in clinical practice should be designed around making yourself better, the system better, finding creative ways to participate and be involved in things that are beyond the scope of the clinical practice, but it will impact medicine. I wanted to make a quick mention of a gentleman that also was critically important in my career here, and this is a shout out to the County Medical Society. This is a gentleman named Ray Hoffman. Ray Hoffman was the president of the Illinois State Medical Society when I was here, and a huge advocate of some of the crazies, particularly me, the crazy stuff that we were doing. He unfortunately passed away several years ago. But between he and Dale, as 2 Rockfordians, taking under their wing somebody who really had a lot of energy and a lot of thoughts about trying to make the world a better place, I just wanted to recognize them and encourage you to stay active with your community, because your peers who are practicing medicine will always be great sources of great wisdom for you. I'll stop there because I know I think it's out of time, but I have so much more I could tell you and share with you. I'm so excited, for you guys. I remember sitting there and getting nervous about medical school. I remember my parents sitting in the audience being so proud about this. It's such a huge moment. Take so many pictures because you'll always go back and look at them fondly. They showed me the yearbook from 1997 this morning. I was like, holy moly, that's me. But these are things that will stick you. So I wish you the best of luck in your future careers in this Ask questions, be strong, be smart, honor your traditions, honor your professors, and be great doctors. Thanks very much.
So in that yearbook, it predicted that Dr. Suk would be the first student in his class who would be a part of the AMA and come back to his College of Medicine, not to give the white coat ceremony, but to give the graduation talk. So we're going to work on that, Michael. And if you want to know for yourself personally, and how do you know you're getting better, I would take it as one of those outcome variables that your College of Medicine has asked you to come back. I think we've asked you to come back because of who you are and what you've done and what message you can spread. So we thank you so very much. The white coats will be presented to the faculty by the upper class students. The faculty will coat and welcome the class of 2022. Dr. Blevins, please come to the podium.
So just a little bit, as Dean Stagnaro-Green said, the upper class students are waiting to welcome you as well. They're bringing in your coats. The students will be signing the teacher-learner agreement before they come to center stage. This is a document which outlines the guiding principles of the profession of medicine: duty, integrity, and respect. You'll see a copy in your program. Students will then come to center stage and receive their coats. We ask that there will be an opportunity after the ceremony to take pictures, and our photographer, you've seen Jim Orlando running around here, he will be taking some shots as well. So with that, will the first 3 rows please stand and line up and come forward when your name is called. Nadine Abouchaleh, Chicago, Illinois. University of California, Santa Cruz, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. Lucinda Adams, Dahlgren, Illinois, McKendree University, Bachelor of Science in Biology. Christian Alfonso, Miami, Florida, Florida International University, Bachelor of Science in Biology, University of Miami, Master of Public Health. Austin Anderson, Lynn Center, Illinois, Augustana College, Bachelor of Arts in Biology. Robert Ayers, Edwardsville, Illinois, Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville, Bachelor of Science in Chemistry and a Master of Science in Chemistry. Jamel Azhari, Addison, Illinois, University of Illinois at Chicago, Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry. Kaylin Ballman, Hardin, Illinois, Southern Illinois University, Carbondale, Bachelor of Science in Physiology. Allison Began, Crystal Lake, Illinois, University of Alabama, Bachelor of Science in Biology with a minor in Psychology and Spanish. Nicholas Bonamici, Wilmette, Illinois, Grinnell College, Bachelor of Arts in Biological Chemistry and a Bachelor of Arts in Music. Maria Elena Brenner, Lake Zurich, Illinois, University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, Bachelor of Science in Molecular and Cellular Biology. Thank you, Dr. Sagnero Green. Will Dr. Suk please come forward now? And will the next two rows please line up? Riley Brubaker, Monticello, Illinois, University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, Bachelor of Science, Molecular and Cellular Biology, and a Bachelor of Science in Spanish. Jared Cerny, Anna, Illinois, St. Louis University, a Bachelor of Science and a Bachelor of Arts in Biology, and a Master's of Public Health and Health Education. Joshua Christ, Elizabeth, Illinois, Trinity International University, Bachelor of Arts Biology and Pre-Med. Adrian DeGue, St. Louis, Missouri, Northwestern University, Bachelor of Arts in Political Science and a Bachelor of Arts in African Studies. Joshua Dean, Glenview, Illinois, University of Wisconsin-Madison, Bachelor of Science in Biology. James S. Staver, Arlington Heights, Illinois, University of Chicago, Bachelor of Arts Philosophy, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. Orrin Feldman Schultz, Janesville, Wisconsin, University of Wisconsin-Madison, Bachelor of Science in Genetics, and a Bachelor of Science in Spanish. David Fisher, De Pere, Wisconsin, Cornell College, Bachelor of Arts, Biochemistry and Molecular Biology. Holly Garcia, Onarga, Illinois, Illinois College, Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry. Sonia Gilani, Glenview, Illinois, Case Western Reserve University, Bachelor of Arts Biology, Bachelor of Arts Psychology. Thank you, Dr. Soup. Will Dr. Baptist please come forward? Tara Gill, Libertyville, Illinois, DePaul University, Bachelor of Science in Health Sciences. Allison Giuffre, Naperville, Illinois, University of Illinois at Chicago, Bachelor of Science in Biological Science. Whitney Gray, Greenville, Illinois, Millikan University, Bachelor of Science, Biology. Brooke Heibel, Genoa, Illinois, Augustana College, Bachelor of Arts, Neuroscience, Bachelor of Arts, Biology, and a minor in African Studies. Daniel Heller, Lincolnwood, Illinois, Northwestern University, Bachelor of Arts Biology, Bachelor of Arts Economics. Audrey Haney, Siegel, Illinois, University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, Bachelor of Science, Interdisciplinary Health Sciences. Titus Ho, Lisle, Illinois, University of Iowa, Bachelor of Science, Biochemistry. Jessica Wah, Buffalo Grove, Illinois, Northwestern University, Bachelor of Arts, Biology. Jacob Hughes, Catlin, Illinois, University of Illinois at Springfield, Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry. Juan He, Nashville, Tennessee, University of Chicago, Bachelor of Arts, Biological Sciences, Master of Science in Medical Physiology. Thank you, Dr. Baptist. Dr. Whelan, will you join me for the next group? Madeline Hunt, Naperville, Illinois, Vanderbilt University, Bachelor of Arts, Neuroscience. Vanessa Jerger, Batavia, Illinois, University of Illinois at Chicago, Bachelor of Science, Biological Sciences. Akila Khan, Long Grove, Illinois, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, Bachelor of Science, Psychology. Serena Korkmaz, Rockford, Illinois, University of Illinois at Chicago, Bachelor of Science in Biology. Shalini Kumar, South Elgin, Illinois, University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, Bachelor of Science, Molecular and Cellular Biology. Annalise Laker, Dixon, Illinois, Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville, Bachelor of Science, Biology and Medical Sciences. Lydia Levitt, Wenatchee, Wisconsin, University of Wisconsin-Madison, Bachelor of Science, Neurobiology and Psychology and Global Health. Vikas Manjunath, Barrington, Illinois, University of Miami, Bachelor of Science, Biology. Paige Marchini, Washington, Illinois, Bradley University, Bachelor of Science in Biology and Associate in Biomedical Engineering. Edward Miliofsky, Naperville, Illinois, Loyola University, Chicago, Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry. Thank you, Dr. Whalen. Dr. Vitale, will you come forward? Rachel Miller, Davis, Illinois, Case Western Reserve University, a Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering and a Master's of Science in Medical Physiology. Caitlin Moraine, Arlington Heights, Illinois, Michigan State University, a Bachelor of Science in Physiology. Noemi Rico Moreno, Merced, California, University of Illinois, Chicago, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. Emily Nepomuceno, Bourbonnais, Illinois, University of Illinois at Chicago, Bachelor of Science, Neuroscience. Michael Niederbrock Jr., Athens, Illinois, Illinois College, Bachelor of Science, Biochemistry. Nathan Pfister, Morrison, Illinois, Iowa State University, Bachelor of Science, Industrial Engineering. Jessica Perkel, Arnsville, Illinois, Kansas State University, Bachelor of Science in Biology. Con Wraith, Barry, Illinois, St. Louis University, Bachelor of Science in Biomedical Engineering and a Bachelor of Science in Bioelectrical Engineering. Silpa Raju, Barrington, Illinois, Dartmouth College, Bachelor of Arts, Philosophy. Michael Roach, Freeport, Illinois, Iowa State University, Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering. Thank you, Dr. Vitale. Dr. King, will you come forward? Jordan Saeed, Mount Prospect, Illinois, Drake University, Bachelor of Science in Neuroscience and a Bachelor of Science in Biology. Cole Sedlak, Countryside, Illinois, Miami University, Bachelor of Arts, Biology. Stephen Szymanski, Channahon, Illinois, University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, Bachelor of Science, Molecular and Cell Biology. Diana Tang, Streamwood, Illinois, Capital University, Bachelor of Arts in Biology and a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. Alexander Thomas, Lerna, Illinois, University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, Bachelor of Science, Molecular and Cellular Biology. Trevor Troutman, Morrison, Illinois, St. Ambrose University, Bachelor of Science, Biology. Umber Wahid, Darien, Illinois, Northwestern University, Bachelor of Arts in Neuroscience. Matthew Wendell, Jerseyville, Illinois, Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville, Bachelor of Science in Chemistry, Bachelor of Science in Biology. Kyle Wong, Aurora, Illinois, University of Illinois at Chicago, Bachelor of Science, Biological Science, and a Bachelor of Science in Health Science. Once again, please join me in congratulating the University of Illinois College of Medicine class of 2022. That looked good. Okay. I will now invite Dr. Mitchell King to come to the podium, and he will lead the students in the oath on entering medical school.
Thank you. I would like to direct you to the third page inside of your program where there is the oath on entering medical school. And I'd like to ask the class of 2022 to please stand. I want you to repeat after me. I now swear by what I hold most sacred that I will conduct myself with personal and academic integrity and exhibit respect toward my fellow students, instructors, and all those involved in my education. As I learn the skills and values of medicine. I will work on behalf of the patients entrusted to my care. And exhibit humane behavior when doing so. I will respect all professional standards in my relations with patients, their families, and their friends. Especially the standard of confidentiality. I will work to protect the dignity and nobility of the medical profession. This day, I do swear these things freely and upon my honor. You guys may be seated. Now I want to direct the family, friends, and teachers also to that same page where there's an oath for family, friends, and teachers that I would like everyone to read along with me. There's also a Spanish version for those who would like to recite this in Spanish. So we'll begin. We solemnly swear to be a source of encouragement for the class of 2022 of the University of Illinois College of Medicine, Rockford. Consideration. We acknowledge the sacrifices that will be required and pledge our support. As parents, families, friends, and teachers, we make these promises enthusiastically without reservation. Thank you.
This concludes our ceremony today. I would like to thank the family and friends who joined us. It is with great pleasure that we celebrate this important rite of passage for the class of 2022 as they begin their clinical training. Students will exit the auditorium and gather for a class photo. Family and guests are invited to join us for a reception in the Partners Pavilion and UIC Commons. Please visit the UIC pop-up apparel sale and take a complimentary family portrait in the Commons area. Please remain seated as the class of 2022 exits the auditorium. Congratulations. please join us in the auditorium.